Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Paranormasight, the Seven Mysteries of Honjo. Heute mal noch ein bisschen früher. Ich glaube, vorgestern waren wir auch so früh. Ich weiß es gar nicht mehr. Aber ja, im Endeffekt ein bisschen früh, weil ich jetzt überraschenderweise morgen früh noch arbeiten muss. Eigentlich hätte ich frei gehabt, aber die haben gefragt, ob ich arbeiten könnte. Und ich habe gemeint, ja. Ist halt eine kurze Schicht, das geht. Danach kann ich noch ein bisschen Sport machen. Und naja, es passt gut in meinen Plan rein, weil ich müsste morgen auch einkaufen. Also ich wäre ansonsten vielleicht heute gegangen. Hatte ich aber eigentlich keine Lust, weil immer, wenn man sich auf der Arbeit dann mal sehen lässt, dann machen so, guck mal, die könnte hier arbeiten. Ja, ich könnte arbeiten. Yay. Ja, deswegen, da hatte ich keine Lust einkaufen zu gehen, hat sich aber auch dann erledigt, weil ich muss ja nicht einkaufen gehen. Ich mache das morgen nach der Schicht. Dann gucken wir mal, also wir können irgendwie nirgends weiter, außer hier bei Harue Shigima. Dann machen wir hier auch weiter gleich. äh, oh, bisschen Hals. Ein bisschen. Harue Shigima, 10 a.m. Shigima Menschen. Sind wir schon wieder an der Shigima Menschen? Stand? Good morning, ma'am. How are you feeling? I'm fine. I hope we can make good progress today. How's your curse stone looking? I haven't felt anything from it since sunrise. Interesting. It's people that its power can only be unleashed at night then. That aside, why are you so late this morning? There are unfortunately some things that can't be investigated while the world slumbers. But I did get some research done in what limited time I had. Very well, let's talk. The town is beginning to wake up once more. The clamor of society can be heard from beyond the garden gates. Like any day, a cloud of pollution drifts out from the industrial area. Okay. Finden wir halt auch irgendwo einen Vogel? No. This is the old mansion where I was born and raised. Okay, das war's wohl, dann reden wir wohl. By the way, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. And what's that? Our current plan is to steal a curse stone that's already absorbed soul tracks, but I'm wondering if it would suffice to not steal, but instead negotiate with a curse barrier and have them use the right for our purpose. Oh, I mean, I suppose that would accomplish the same, but do you think it's possible? So long as we offer compensation, it may prove much easier than you'd expect. Compensation? Cash, for instance. That wouldn't be off the table for a family as rich as the Shigimas, would it? Of course. Why, any amount would be fine if it get the job done. I won't let monetary matters lead me to regret the way it did back with the ransom. Okay, with that option on the table, let's figure out our strategy. Do you have a curse bearer with whom we can negotiate in mind? Not yet. Surprisingly, it seems the other curse bearers haven't been that proactive about collecting soul tracks. Did you see the news this morning? No, I haven't. Overnight, 3 mysterious deaths were reported in this area. They've yet to announce the identities of the bodies found, but they've been nicknamed the Honjo serial killings. It's garnered quite some attention on the streets. Oh my. Only 3? That's what I thought. Even if the victims were curse bearers, just 1 or 2 wouldn't be enough soul tracks. And for what those curse stones are capable of, a mere 3 victims seems a little on the low side. With this little activity, although all through the night, the curse bearers must be a cautious bunch. What's holding them back? Are we not all after the power of resurrection? Ich frage mich auch, Shokooki hatte sie doch eigentlich umgebracht. Warum lebt sie überhaupt noch? Was? Sind die dann alle wieder hä? Ich verstehe es nicht! There may still be some undiscovered victims, but it doesn't seem like anyone has gathered enough soul tracks yet. We might have to set up some bait to spur them into action. And then we offer them the deal. Ich frage mich ja, wie die das erklären wollen, wenn auf einmal eine Person, die irgendwie schon 10 Jahre tot ist, auf einmal wieder zum Leben erweckt wurde. Die muss man ja versteckt halten. I learned something new about the criminal involved with the kidnapping. It concerns the serial killings. There was a body found at Komagata High School. The person was identified as a school teacher. His name was Kohai Kuchonuchi. Do you think he was a curse bearer? Not sure, it's possible. But regardless, this means the 2 people who knew the truth about the kidnapping are both dead. Just when we were getting somewhere. It isn't enough to make me give up, of course. Still, we don't know anything about Michio Shiraishi's residence. It'd be wise to pay it a visit. Understood. In addition to the 3 victims associated with the Honjo serial killings, there's Michio Shiraishi's, who reportedly committed suicide, and the police officer who died at the former Yasudai Gardens. If strange deaths continue occurring like so, they're bound to inspire strange rumors. But those last 2 have nothing to do with the 7 mysteries, no? It's true, both occurred a week before this accursed situation began. Still, it cannot be ruled out. It's possible that the mastermind was involved even with those killings. How? What if there were preliminary steps to awakening the 7 mystery curses? Can we really assume they're unrelated just because the timing doesn't match up? Or rather, the police officer's death is so baffling that it'd be easier if it were connected to these curses. The victim wasn't the type to be caught off guard easily. Seemed to know a lot about this. I suppose we weren't strangers. My personal feelings might be wrapped up in this one too. I see. If you were to investigate this matter more, you might get a lead on the mastermind. You're right. If you wish to focus on the mastermind's identity, this would be a fine starting point. We might even discover more deaths related to the curse on the way. We should pay attention to today's news. None of the curse bearers seem very proactive. I wonder if this situation could be what the mastermind who kicked it all off intended. Now that's an interesting theory. You think there's someone behind this all? You mentioned hearing an agonized voice telling you to kill when you first obtained the curse stone. That doesn't sound like a coincidence to me. Someone agitated the curses in this area on purpose, and they are likely after the rite of resurrection as well. So you're thinking this person is not one of the curse bearers? You've got a sharp mind, ma'am. Thought it might seem obvious for the mastermind to become a curse bearer and collect soul tracks if they were after the rite. This would be very risky since as a curse bearer they themselves would become a target. So it'd actually be more convenient for them if the curse bearers moved less aggressively. That's right, but despite that, they've been inciting the curse bearers to commit murders. Why? Let's consider this. What if the mastermind isn't trying to collect soul tracks themselves? You mean their intention was also to steal the souls while the other curse bearers complete with each other from the start? Ooh. Sitting back and observing from the sidelines is the safer course of action, which is why I figured it best for us to attempt the same strategy. So, how should we do it? There's still reason to suspect the mastermind could be a curse bearer themselves. To be honest, I want to keep my distance from whoever it is. There's no telling what kind of power they might possess. Whether our aim is to negotiate or steal, we'll have to outpace the mastermind in making contact with the other curse bearers. How do you suppose we do so? At this point, all we can do is search. If there's a mastermind inciting the curse bearers to collect soul tracks, can we be sure there even is a rite of resurrection? Good question. The rite could be nothing but a myth fabricated to spur the curse bearers into action. Seeing it might be for naught, do you want to give up, ma'am? Never. Understood. After all, we'll never know the truth unless we see it for ourselves. But we'll do it without using the curse ourselves. By the way, I met a few people who seemed like potential curse bearers last night. I did some investigating into all of them, but I only managed to get detailed information on two. You're quick. I suppose that's to be expected from an investigator extraordinaire. I appreciate the flattery. First, there's Ayame Tono, the girl who talked to before, though she isn't a curse bearer herself. She's a student attending T University of Art. So she currently lives alone in an apartment near Midoricho Park. Das vielleicht deine Tochter? You even determined her address? You're not one to be underestimated, Mr. Investigator Extraordinaire. I called every single university with ukiyo-e in the curriculum pretending to be her parent. I went around to check on her place on the way here. It doesn't seem like she returned home last night. I'm worried she might run into some trouble. Didn't you attempt to follow her last night? I'm embarrassed to say, but I couldn't. She shook me. I couldn't keep track of her. And here I thought you were an investigator extraordinaire. I'd like to learn more about her, but it would take some time. She's planning to steal the curse stones just like us. It's best we act carefully around her. Next, the tall man who was dressed in black. I met him near Kinchisho. He stood out with the way he dressed. I managed to get some good information from him. Impressive. What can I say? He works at the secretary to Hihaku Soap's chairwoman. I believe his name is Takumi Yumioka. The Hihaku Soap's headquarters and factories are both located in Honshu, correct? Yes, they've been here for a while, but it's only in the past 10 years that the company has shown significant growth. I remember seeing the chairwoman on the news a few years back. She seems to be very shrewd. With the increase in sales, I assume she'd want her factories running at full capacity. But with the harsh restrictions against industrial waste, a lot of the factories with older equipment had to shut down. That's right. Even 10 years ago, there were many complaints about chemical plants dumping waste into the river. Most companies back then were more concerned with making a profit than protecting the environment. I wonder what a man working for such a company would have been up in the middle of the night. On the way here, I stopped by the company's headquarters, but they hadn't started for the day. I should have better luck later. Let's hope you will. Perhaps they're interested in seeing if the ride would be beneficial for their product research into beauty and skincare? Huh, now that's an interesting thought. Das ist es. I ran into one more suspicious young man last night. This one seemed to be out collecting soul tracks, right? Indeed, I couldn't get a good look at him though, and I couldn't gather enough intel to properly identify him. Well, that's a shame, but I can make an educated guess. Oh? You know that researcher who discovered the ancient text on the rite of resurrection? The one that lives near here? His name is Hideki Araishi, and the man I met was very similar in stature. Oh my, even he is involved? How awfully suspect! Considering his background, couldn't he be the one who initiated the whole affair? I think it's possible, yes. Which is why I decided to refrain from making contact with him for the time being. Safety first. Understandable. Of course, I want to learn more, but this isn't the right time to focus on him. I prefer to ascertain who else is a curse bearer. First, I'll return to Hihaku Soaps to see that man in black. Their headquarters are down on South Varigesu Street. Well, that's all I have to report. Shall we continue with our investigation? What do you want to do? If you still can't use the curse stone, taking a walk should be a fine place to start. Right, let's go together. I want to see what's going on for myself. In that case, I'll trust you to decide on where we should go.